Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm back with a new blog post for you about the October 9th sign. So just when I thought that it couldn't get any more spectacular, I stumbled across another sign in the sun, moon, and stars this October 9th that appears to align with the Revelation 12 sign, or the second part of the Revelation 12 sign, about the great red dragon whose tail swept a third of the stars from the sky. So if you haven't seen this video, I document how every planet, sun, moon, stars, and the moon are precisely positioned on October 9th. It's a picture out of Revelation with the four horsemen. You need to check it out because it is a wonder in heaven to serve as signs on earth. But let's get to this latest sign. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads, and his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. Revelation 12, verses 3 through 5. So let's introduce you to Draco and what Draco constellation is doing on this particular night. So we have a constellation which has a tail which sweeps a third of the sky. If you measure it by the degrees of the sky from the start of the tail to the end of the tail, it's 1/3. There are 10 stars in this tail, which are the 10 horns or scales. For the dragon, the horns would be the scales, would be the 10 horns. And there are 7 other stars representing the head of the dragon. It stands in front of the woman, and it has 7 crowns. Corona Borealis has 7 stars, 7 crowns on top of its head. And, believe it or not, on October 8th, which in the United States, that's the same time as October 9th in Israel, there is a meteor shower centered on the head of Draco, whose nose is a red giant star. So this is a red dragon with a tail sweeping a third of the sky, with meteor shower coming down on October 8th. This happens every year in October timeframe, but to land precisely on October 8th, along with all the other signs, is quite spectacular. So let's talk about this man-child that's brought up. Right? So she brought forth a man-child. That is a reference to Isaiah 66. And this reads, a voice of noise from the city. So this could either be Zion or Babylon. A voice of trumpets from the temple, and a voice of the Lord that renders recompense or vengeance to his enemies. Oh, wow. So this is blow the trumpet in Zion kind of talk, and noise and disruption and trumpets. Then that's in verse 6. Verse 7, before she travailed, she brought forth, before her pain, so before the tribulation, she was delivered of a man-child. Who has heard of such a thing? Who has seen such things? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Shall a nation be born, resurrected, at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. So there you have it. The pre-tribulation rapture described in Isaiah 66, referenced in Revelation 12, verses 3 through 5, with a sign that appears on the 8th day of the Feast of Tabernacles on the full moon calendar, along with the 4 horsemen, Babylon being thrown into a river, Jupiter standing still, standing at the door and knocking. The sky is alive on the date that is the most discussed point in time in all of the Bible, on October 8th and 9th. The evening of October 8th in the United States, morning October 9th in Israel. So there's one other potential sign in the skies. I say it's potential because we can't predict it precisely, but we have a high confidence that it's going to happen this fall. An 8th star will appear in Corona Borealis this fall for a couple of days. At that point, the nova, because it's going to go supernova, will be about as bright as Polaris, the North Star, which is among the top 50 brightest stars in the entire night sky. So there's a 70% chance they'll go nova by September, and a 95% chance they'll go off by the end of the year. So this is a visualization of what's going on. One star is receiving gas and dust from another, and it builds up. It's kind of like Old Faithful. It periodically goes off about every 80 years. That's why we can predict it, because we've observed a pattern, and we've been studying it. So we know to expect it, but we can't precisely time it. So unlike the stars, comets, and meteor shower, which we do know exactly when to expect, but given what we know of Yahuwah, or the Lord, as most Bibles describe it, I think the odds of this lining up around October 9th are quite high. There's no evidence that I have that it's going to, but with all the other things that are lining up for this particular date, do not be surprised if we don't see it happen either on October 9th or at one of the feast days this fall. So I believe that this star will signal the crowning of the Antichrist, as this crown could be viewed as the head, as being on the head of Draco the dragon, or serpens, the serpent that is in front of Virgo. So that's the update for today. If you haven't seen this video, once again, check out the Wonders in Heaven That Prove the Bible for all the other details of this amazing sign.